It's time to kick up your life with Master Mel.
You could be the hero, you could get the gold. Breaking all the records they thought never could be broke.
Learn how to optimize your business and your life with Master Melodee Meyer. As she speaks with thought leaders, athletes, entrepreneurs, and high achievers to discover their secrets of success. Master Mel uses her experience in martial arts, nutrition, fitness, and psychology to help you kick it up to the next level of mastery in your life. And now, here's your host, Master Mel.
All right. Well, this is exciting. We have another great show for you this week, and I'm very excited to introduce to you Mike Fritz. Now, if you haven't heard of him before, you the guy, a rising star. And I saw him on the stage just a couple months ago, and I got to tell you, he blew me away. So I can't wait to tell you more about that experience. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about Mike Fritz. Okay, he's a world-leading speaker trainer. That means he teaches other professional speakers how to make the most of their talks and how to make money doing that. He's had the privilege of sharing the stage with hundreds of speaking greats. Now, Mike went from 6 talks to more than 100 talks a year in just 24 months, generating hundreds of thousands of dollars in personal income. Now, Mike has had more than 1,500 paid engagements and has been featured on NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, and over 200 business journals. He is the founder of Magnetic Speaker and co-founder of Algorithms for Success that specializes in putting on events that help speakers, authors, coaches, and business owners get noticed and get paid in their niche. So if you are a business person, you are an entrepreneur, and you want to learn about how to grow your business, how to grow your tribe, then you are in the right place today. You know, I love to have these shows where we can really take our businesses up to the next level, and we're going to do that today. We're going to talk about lead generation online and how you can use that really to build your business. Now, I know this can seem daunting to a lot of people, but Mike has some special strategies he's going to share with us today. So please welcome with me, Mike Fritz. Yay!
Hey. Thank you so much, Mel, for having me on. I'm so excited to be with you guys today. And I love what you're doing for entrepreneurs. This is an amazing thing. I love the name of your show. I just love the fact that there's people out there trying to connect entrepreneurs with their dreams. It makes me get so excited. It's crazy. And
I know. Well, I know this is your thing. That's why you're here, my friend. That's why you're here, because you actually help people kick it up too, you know? And when I saw you, like I said in the introduction, I saw you on stage. I was at your Magnetic Speaker Blueprint event. And I couldn't believe, I've been speaking for a long time, but I could not believe how many nuggets I walked away with, how much I learned, how much it has improved my speaking even since that time, and to really get to what my purpose is and why I'm speaking and who I'm speaking to and what I want to share with them.
Absolutely.
So I'm so glad to actually, what I want to do is kind of dive in and dissect some of the things that you were talking about at that event. But I also want to talk to you about this event that you have coming up, about lead generation. It's called the Lead Gen event, if I'm
Yes,
correct.
That is absolutely correct. One of the reasons we're excited about this is, and I love the fact that you're a Magnetic Speaker. It's one of our passions to really get speakers, because what I've realized meeting speakers have a message, no doubt about it. But one of the things they wrestle with is they can't get that message in front of as many people as they want to, which is why we love to show them, okay, how do you get in front of the decision makers? But what we realized with all the events we do, and we do tons of different events in different niches, is the one thing that every single business person needs is leads. They need to know how to find them. They need to know how to find the right leads, and they need to know how to bring them through a process so that when they finally do get the lead, they know what to do with it. So finally, let's say you get a lead, what do you do with it? So we finally are like, you know what, let's throw a one-day event where we're really just dive in full force, which is, they're going to get a lot of content today, But at the event, we have three gurus from all over the country, 6 people coming in for a one-day event to share tons of information that will go far beyond the amount of time we have today. But I'm just excited because today, from what you told me, we're going to dive in deep and we're going to give these people some info.
We are. And tangible things that people can walk away with from this time together. So we're not just going to talk about theories and ideas. I'm tired of those kinds of podcasts.
Me too. Preach. I'm with you. Bring it.
Now, I saw on the website that Kevin Harrington's going to be there. Is that right?
Yeah, we have Kevin Harrington from the first few seasons of Shark Tank. He sat in the chair all the way on our left as we watch it on the screen on the right with the Sharks where Mark Cuban sits now. He was one of the first investors on Shark Tank. And we went down and met with him, and he's really excited to come. And he's going to, at the Legion event, at the end of the day, he's going to actually do not only a talk, but a Q&A. So people can actually ask Kevin Harrington questions about business. I mean, the guy's worth $500 million. He knows some things about business that a lot of people don't know.
A couple of things. Yeah, a couple of things.
Sure.
I'll listen to Kevin too. Well, I'm excited for that event. I got to tell you that the whole idea of generating leads, people think that if they just put up a website, if they just maybe put something up on Facebook saying, I'm here, that's somehow going to turn into money, or it's going to turn into people going, oh, I'm so interested. There's way too much noise happening online in people's inboxes. How do we stand out? How, like you said, everybody's got a message, right? Everyone's got something really important to share, but how do you get that in front of the right people?
Yeah. That's a great question. And that's what everybody really wrestles with. One of the things with social media today and media in general, it's made it easier than ever before to get leads. Now, the first thing I love to say, because I'm an optimist, I actually think this is the greatest time to be alive in the history of existence. I think this is it. We have more things at our fingertips to be able to impact people than we've ever had before, if used correctly. But one of the big mistakes I see online entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs in general make, one of the biggest mistakes I see them make is they equate likes to leads or website visitors to leads. That's not the same thing. So I'm actually going to say you can get a fan page with a bunch of likes, but unless you have a system to transfer them into leads, it's kind of a wasted. It's kind of a wasted thing. Now, I understand if you're trying to get a book published, they care about that because they see that as some sort of tribe you've built. But the truth is, especially within our day, knowing that all those things can be purchased and all that stuff, it's like, what does that really mean? For me, if somebody walks up to me and says, I have 1,000 people on my email list that are warm leads, in other words, they've attended an event, they've purchased, or 20,000 people on another list that has said, I bought this, I would take the 1,000 people every day and twice on Sunday because they're qualified leads. And so what are the things I want us to get our mind away that likes equal leads or visitors equal leads? Those are impressions. That's okay. That's good. But we have to find a system that gets them over to what we call a lead. And I would define a lead as somebody that has looked at your business and nodded that they want some sort of engagement. That's my definition of a lead, whether it be through giving them your email address or attending an event, or you visited your podcast, or maybe listening to this radio show and said, Mel, I want some more information. You can type in questions on this, say, maybe they type in a question that could very well be turned into a lead. But that's my definition of a lead, and I want business owners to see that. Does that make sense?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've had this conversation several times with people who go, I have, 20,000 followers.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you have, no, you don't.
Yeah.
And in fact, even on something like Facebook now, the algorithms are set up so that even people who do want to follow you, who have chosen in to follow you, may not ever get to see anything that you post unless they go directly to your page.
Exactly.
So you don't have control over those things. I have another friend who is actually a professional actress, and she hosts a TV show, and she has so many fans, and she's very well known. However, she still can't access those people.
Exactly.
She still doesn't have their names and emails. They're not in a list or a CRM. And I told her, I said, that's the only thing that counts. It doesn't matter how many fans you have. It matters how many people can you engage and touch with the message or your products or services.
Absolutely. And I think if we have someone in our family, in our coaching family, the same exact way. She's on TV all over, but she's now working with us to try to transfer all that to some sort of business. Because you can be on TV, you can have let's say you have 100,000 subscribers to your YouTube channel, but they just watch and they don't engage. That doesn't matter. And we have a friend of ours that has 30,000 subscribers on YouTube, transferred them over to 20,000 subscribers to his email list because he used it correctly, and now fills his events off YouTube alone. Now that's somebody who saw YouTube as a lead generation tool, not a, hey, let's shoot a video, right? Right.
Yeah, I want it to go viral and I want 1 million hits or something. 1 million hits still isn't going to turn into, 10 cents. It's not going to buy you a cup of coffee.
Exactly.
Well, actually, YouTube might give you enough money for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, that's right. YouTube, if you get 1 million hits, YouTube will contact you probably. But the point is, your point is very, 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 very true, is the only reason we want to turn people into leads is so that we can give them enough value to turn them into buyers so that our business can stay open. One of the things that we have to have a process to get them and then get them to what I call the cash register. There has to be a streamline from lead acquisition, no matter what tool you're using, and we'll go through some of the tools today, straight to the cash register. There has to be an unblocked line so that you can get them so they can actually buy your stuff, so that they can get your value, so they can become raving fans and get in your coaching, your mastermind, or come to your events, or book you to speak, or come to your, studio, or book you, whatever your business is. It doesn't matter. We have to have a streamline from where they find you to the cash register, to where they invest in your products and services.
Yeah. Another conversation that happens sometimes at this point is where people go, well, if they don't organically find me or like me, then, I don't want them to be customers. I don't want to be selling. I know some people who have the most amazing content, who are the most amazing speakers, are actually, their work is transformational and even saves people's lives that do not get their message out there to the right people. And that breaks my heart, because there's a lot of people who are scammers that don't have a lot of the content, but they're good marketers and they know how to generate leads. And so they're getting business, they're making money, God bless them, but they don't have that same level of integrity or content that some of these other people do. And I say, let's all support each other, especially those with very, important content, to get those systems in place and get
100%
out there.
Agree with you 100%. Because one of the things that I think people need to understand about their content doesn't convert. So what that means is, just because you have good content or bad content doesn't mean you will ever make $1. See, the truth is, why does what you just said, why does some bad content make money and good content doesn't? It really doesn't have a lot to do with the content. It has to do with a couple things. The first one is it the right content in front of the right person? So a lot of times it's the right content being marketed to the wrong person, or the wrong content being marketed to the right person, and therefore it crosses and you never really hit the person. That's one reason. The second reason is the content isn't positioned to take them to a next step. So if I walk up and told you a story, you would be like, okay, great story. But if the story had an action step that had you engage with me further, then the content is doing something. See, bad content, there's one thing in common, bad content has in common that converts. So all bad content that converts has one thing in common. All bad content has a call to action. So if it's bad content that converts, it has a call to action. If it's good content that converts, it has a call to action. See, most content doesn't. Like, you have a blog post, and people put a blog a week up. Oh, I'm a blogger. I blog once a week. It's like, okay, great. When was the last time you guest blogged on somebody else's and drove somebody to your blog that drove them to an opt-in to give them value? Or when was the last time you used your radio show like you to promote an event that then help people engage with you, engage with us, then probably engage with you further. See, the difference is with content is you've got to have call to action. So it doesn't matter. We call this call to action no matter what. So it doesn't matter what content you have. Let's say it's YouTube. Let's say it's Twitter. Let's say it's a Twitter thing that leads to a blog post or to a video. Every single thing has a call to action. So the first step I would tell you today is everything has a call to action. Everything has a call to action. If you put a quote on Facebook, you can have a call to action by simply putting a link and saying 4 more quotes go here. And it could send them to your website. It could send them to an opt-in where they get your quote book. If they opt in, it doesn't matter. But the point is everything should have a call to action. Different people call this different thing. It doesn't matter what you call it. But you think about it on the internet, there's a hub, and this is where you collect email addresses. This is where you collect contact information. Everything you put off should lead to that. Everything, every YouTube video, every blog post should lead to gathering information for one purpose, so that you know where to send more value to them. More value. We are in a value game. Mel, you can attest to this. If I went to I always say this, in the 1940s, why was everybody rushing out for the gold rush? Why did it happen? Because that's where the value was. If I was to dump $1 million in a parking lot of a shopping mall, where would all the people be? Where the value is. And it's the same on the internet. Value attracts people, but once you get them there, you got to collect something. You got to have a call to action, which means give me your contact information and I'll give you more value. So we'll walk through the 4 C's that we deal with on the internet in a minute.
The 4 C's?
Oh,
I
yeah.
like that. I like the 4 C's.
It's common. I'm going to bring it.
So we dive right into it? Should we do it?
Yeah. You know what? Why don't we do that? I know. Yeah. Let's do the first 2 C's maybe, and then we'll have to probably take your break, and then we'll do the next one after.
Oh my gosh, yes, I'll need to get revived. I get so excited when I got structure like this, the 4 C's. Excellent. Yeah. Okay, so was that the C number 1?
Kind of. So C number 1 is content.
Okay.
C number 1 is you need to be a content creation machine. People don't understand with one video what you can do. So let's say if I sat down this week in front of a video camera and I shot a 20-minute YouTube video. There's look at all the things this can become. It's a YouTube video to be posted on YouTube. I can strip the audio and put it on a podcast. I can have it transcribed and now it's a blog. And I can have it transcribed and send it to my email list. And I can copy it and have it as an MP3 that I put on a CD and I mail to my people. It can be so many different things. So one 20-minute video with our day and age can be turned into tons of different lead generation things. But you have to be a content machine. Does that make sense?
Oh, for sure. I love multi-purpose. In fact, I have a thing. I can't even do something for just one reason. I can't go to the store for one thing. I can't even go to just one store. If I'm going out, it's to, I got a little circuit. I got to get that for sure. So I like to use things like for instance, Snapchat. I can use a Snapchat to make a story, which turns into a video, which turns into a YouTube, which turns into an Instagram post, which turns, right? So it just, repurposing content is a great way of getting things out there.
And what I love to do is theme my content per week. So if you shoot one video per week, that theme can be an audio, a Twitter post, a Facebook quote, a blog, all around that one piece of content. Then the next week you move to a new theme, whatever's your niche. Let's say you own a auto.
Well, let's talk about your niche. Let's talk about what you're doing. Let's talk about some of your themes. What do you do?
Okay, so for Magnetic Speaker, one week will be how to write a good direct mail piece. 1 week will be how to find how to buy lists in bulk. And so I'll shoot a video of how to find bulk lists that you can mail to and ask to be booked to speak. Next week, I'll talk about, maybe I'll switch in to how to speak. So I'll talk about the 4 things that every speaker needs to do, but most speakers never do. And that kind of thing. And my whole week will be about presentation. The next week, maybe I'll talk about pre-selling products. So my whole week will be how to sell products before you ever show up to speak. And then the next week will be whatever. So every single thing we do for this lead gen event, we have 1 week where we talk about one social media, then another week we talk about another lead gen area, then another lead gen area. But the point is we theme our content as we're creating. And this lead gen's brand new. We're in the process of creating it all right now. And so every week theme your content. So what I like to do is create a content calendar at the beginning of the year. So you need 50.
This is so organized, Mike. Do you really do that?
We have actually, I got it from, I borrowed it from another company. They had a content calendar. I'm like, that's a pretty good idea. And we just brought somebody on to help run our funnels because they get so robust. And he has a content calendar, and it just tells us when to push stuff out. So it tells you need 52 pieces of content throughout the year. Now let me hit rewind. You can always repurpose content, from years past that you've used because most people have forgotten it or it's changed. But the other thing is, one of the things that I'm going to give you a philosophical thing of lead generation. The only people that, from here moving forward, because the world's changing so fast, the only people that will survive in this business are the people that can give the most away for free and still have something to say after people pay you. That's the only people that will survive, because so much information is free now. People have to give so much away for free to attract any attention. Then they still have to have something to say after people invest in their products or services. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the only people that will really make it long term. So I encourage you, people listening, to do this. You have to become the best at what you do. And every one of you can do that. I don't care who's out there. They got there somehow. You can become the best. And by becoming the best, you've got to learn everything you can about your niche. Read about it. Read how, from every different angle. Take out a piece of paper and start writing down questions. Why do I do what I do in my business, or whatever your niche is, and whatever you're going to teach your people? We have to almost dig into our brain to figure out what we know, so that we can teach it, because we take it for granted. I mean, for you in your martial arts studios, I'll bet you do things instinctively that you have to really walk people through slowly because they don't get, correct?
Totally.
Exactly. Well, you get it instinctively because you've done it so long. So we actually have to pause. When I launched Magnetic Speaker, I had to pause and really take notes of, what do I really do? Because I do it instinctively because I've done it a long time. But why do I do it? And that actually became my content. So what I do is, I learned this from my days in stand-up comedy, because I was a comedian for 4 years. I learned my days in stand-up when I always carried something to write down joke ideas. Always had a pad of paper. Well, now I do the same thing, but it's just for content ideas. So I do the same. If I'm on a plane and so I see, two people arguing about something, and it strikes something. Ooh, you know what? I bet you I could teach that to people, because that's something that they would need to know that applies to speaking, and I'll write it down. And then I'll write it down. I always carry a content something with me. Well, I do it on my phone, but on the notes app of my phone, I'm always writing down things that will work. Another good way to generate content is exactly what we're doing. Interview people. That's a fantastic way to generate content. And kudos to you for not only creating a hub where all the entrepreneurs come together, but giving people a way to connect. This is just fantastic. So
fun too. And it's fun.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. But the first thing, again, don't miss is content creation. Got to be a content machine. Okay, so first thing is content. And you got to be creating content 24/7. It never stops. You have to always be pumping out content. And the second C is contact. This is where you get their contact information. So content, first thing is content, whether it's a YouTube video, a blog post, some Facebook quotes, you pin something on Pinterest or Instagram or Snapchat, whatever it is. All of that content, it drives to an opt-in page where it used to be called in the old days a squeeze page. Now we just call it a landing page or an opt-in page, where they give you their contact information in turn for something. And that'll be my third C we'll talk about in a minute. But every first piece of initial content goes towards this contact. Okay, so it doesn't matter what piece of content you have, it always drives to somewhere where you can collect their information. So if you can just keep it this simple, everything you create, put a link on it saying, for more information, or if you'd like this, and I'll talk about how to create what we call in this business a lead magnet. I'm going to tell you how to create that in the next section. But in fact, I'll tell you how to create that before the break. But your first C is content. Then you go to contact information. And here's how you usually get that. It's what we call a lead magnet. Some people call it an ethical bribe. Some people call it all kinds of things. But it's something you offer that your target market wants, that you're going to give them for free if they opt in and give you their email address. It could be like for me, the speaking industry. I had a lot of luck with the top 10 topics that are booked in the speaking industry. I have a webinar going right now, I think it's a 60-minute webinar going right now that I teach the 3 secrets of landing your next speaking gig. And it's a free webinar, 60-minute training that they can opt in and get a 60-minute class. Well, that is my lead magnet, where I give them something if they give me their contact information. So this is what I mean by who can give the most away for free. Because remember, you haven't asked them to buy anything yet. So you haven't made any money yet. So first thing we do is content. We drive them to contact information. And I'm actually going to drop the third C because it ties so closely. It's content, contact, content. You give them content again. So after they give you they give you their contact information, you send them more content, right? So for example, I have blog articles on my website that people go to. Then I offer them to opt in for my webinar. Then they get content, more content. So I've given them 2 value adds before I'm asking them to buy anything. And then the fourth C, and we'll walk through these more closely and carefully. Then the fourth C is convert. We want that to convert them to customers and have them buy something from us. And so it's content, contact, content, convert. Those are the 4 C's that really you give them content, you get their information, you give them more content, you ask them if they want to buy something, product, service, whatever you have, membership site, whatever it is. But that's really the lead gen brilliance. That's the beauty. That's where it's at. It's really in those 4 simple steps of you give them something, you ask them for the contact, you give them more, you ask them to buy something. It's really simple. Now it gets more complex as we go on, but it's really simple if you just keep it that tight. Does that make sense? What do you think about that, Mel?
No, I love it. I love it. And I love that 2 out of the 3 are the same. That's my favorite part.
I love that you love that.
Less things to remember. However, for those of you who have not written this down, please do yourself a favor and grab a pen and a piece of paper and write it down, because it seems so simple, and yet as we dive into it, you're going to see that these things, as we actually flesh them out and we actually do actionable steps, because that's what we want to walk away with today, is not just these ideas and the cute little list of C's, but how we're going to actually implement them in our life starting today. I want you to walk away from this talk knowing how you can start this right now, not later, today. Okay, so I really want to go over that. But before we get into more detail on this, I want to ask you something and your opinion about this whole thing of this ethical bribe,
Yep.
as it's been called by some people, and other people might even say, oh, it's like a little manipulation
Yeah.
of trying to get something from people as if they don't know what's actually happening.
Right.
And I just wanted to say that, we're dealing with a smarter and smarter group of people online now who know exactly what's happening when you're asking for their email. They know exactly what's happening when you're offering something for free. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that agreement, but why not be upfront about it and say, hey, if you give me your information, this is how I will respect it.
Yep.
And this is what you can expect from me. And I just find like leading with a lot of integrity really around letting people know why you're doing this. And yes, you're willing to give this report that they want,
Yep.
or whatever content it is, but that you're also then saying, and you're going to be on my list, which I send out, and let them know exactly what it
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you.
Doing.
There's
I
two
think
things.
that's
No, I think you're 100% correct, Mel. There's two things in that process that people really appreciate. They appreciate transparency, like being upfront with your intention. And the second thing they appreciate is when they give you their contact information, that what you send them is highly valuable. In fact, I usually say this. When somebody gives you their contact information, whatever you give them for free should hurt. In other words, it should be so valuable, you hate to give it away because it's worth so much.
I like that.
It should hurt a little bit. There should be like a little, I hate giving that away because it's worth so much money. That's how you gain people's trust. When I do my webinar, the first thing I do on the webinar is tell them, guys, on this webinar at the end, I'm going to have a webinar only exclusive offer. If it's right for you, I want you to take it. If it's not, I don't. I tell them that at the beginning of the webinar so they know what to expect. And if they want to stick around, great. If they don't, they're more than welcome to click off it if they're not interested. And they know an offer's coming up, so if they want to stop and take a break at that time or cancel off, if they just want the content, good. So I think you're 100% right, and I would say yes to that a million times over.
Good. Well, that's also why we started this show talking about this event. I don't want people to think we're trying to lead up to some big sale thing at the end. I want people to know that we are excited about this information.
Absolutely.
I want to make sure it gets in front of the right people. And if you want to do more with it, great, but you're going to walk away with some really great things.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, let's dive into each of these 3 C's right after we take a little break from our sponsors.
Kick up your life. We'll be right back with Master Mel right after this. Are you too busy to eat clean? Do you need to boost your energy, tone your body, and burn fat? Then it's time to treat yourself to the cleanest, high-quality protein supplement available. Introducing Whey Clean. Whey Clean is a completely natural, non-denatured and bioactive protein from the milk of grass-fed cows raised by the Amish, the old-fashioned way. No pesticides, hormones, gluten, soy, or GMOs. Want to know if your protein is clean? Read the label. How many ingredients? Are they all real? Can you even pronounce them? Whey Clean uses only 4 of the highest quality real food ingredients available and leaves out all the fillers, thickeners, additives, and sweeteners the other guys use. Don't compromise. You deserve the best. Go to cleancut.com. That's cleankut.com and get yours today so that you can eat clean and live happy.
All right. Well, thank you, Mike, for being here. We're with Fritz. He is a trainer of speakers. So if you want to know more about speaking, I hope we'll have some time to get into that too a little bit later. But right now we're talking about lead generation and the 4 C's. And we're going to dive deep into what each of these are so that we can walk away with real tangible tools on how we can build our tribe and serve them better.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mel. I'm so excited to even be talking about this because when a day happens where people want to know about lead generation, I get excited because this is really where businesses grow, but they focus. See, a lot of businesses focus on being really good after they get a customer. For example, chiropractors focus on fixing backs. Well, that's great once you have a customer, but you also have to know how to get them in the door. So I love talking about this because this is really where entrepreneurs get to do what they love to do, whatever it is, whether it be a martial arts instructor, a marketer, or whatever. They love to do that, or a speaker. They love to be on stage, but if they don't get booked, they don't get to be on stage. So I love talking about lead gen because this is really where all the dreams come together and all the dreams happen.
And it's much more than just marketing. So marketing would be that kind of like getting it out there, but that doesn't mean you're generating leads either. Just because everybody knows who you are does not mean you have one lead.
Absolutely.
Not at all.
That's exactly right.
How can we change that whole idea from just blanket marketing to actual lead generation?
Absolutely.
So let's get to it, Mike. Let's get to it.
So the first thing you ask yourself, a lot of people use this word avatar, they use this word, but you have to ask this question. who is the person that's most likely to want to buy my product and services? So if you do run if you want, like, for example, if you want to fill your martial arts studio, if you want to fill your speaking calendar, if you want to get people to events, you have to ask the question, who's most likely to buy that? Who's most likely to want my product and service? Because the first question, without knowing who's that person, are they male? Are they female? For example, if you have a primarily female crowd, Pinterest is really good because it's about 80% of a female audience. So you have to know who is your most likely buyer. And then we start, as Mel said, she sent me an email today, I like to start with the end in mind. Well, we want to start with the end in mind. And the end is we want them to invest in your products and services. But first we have to know who's most likely to do that. I realized in my speaking, the person most likely to book me as a leadership speaker were college and campuses that were sick of leadership speakers that were boring. That was my number one clientele, was people that wanted to like, they got sick of all these leadership speakers coming in and being in suits and being all stuffy. They wanted somebody to come in and have fun. And so I actually developed a program around it called Making Leadership Fun. And the point is I know my avatar. I found out who they were, and then I went after them. And so the point is, when you're online, you got to know who's the person that's going to buy your stuff.
Okay, well, actually, I really want to talk about the example you just gave, because many people find themselves in the same situation where the person who's actually, like, your customer is different than the person that you're speaking to.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. So I tell people this all the time in the speaking business. One of the biggest mistakes speakers make, and I'll digress a little bit from lead gen, but one of the biggest mistakes speakers make is they don't understand there's two markets in every niche, the people that book you and the people that hear you. And if you develop your marketing for the people that hear you, you'll never get booked. So you have to develop marketing for the people who hear you, and your presentation and products for the people, or the marketing for the people that book you, and then the presentation and the products for people that hear you. So for me, right, I did a lot of college talks. So all my marketing was for college coordinators, but all my books and my talks were for college students. Totally different market. Right?
But it's the same in a lot of industries. Like, for instance, in the martial arts industry, if you have a school that and you're taking care of kids,
yep,
you're really teaching kids, but it still has to be geared to them and has to be fun, has to be interesting to them. So you're marketing to the parents, however.
Yes.
What they want, what their kids are going to want. So it's like finding who it is who's got the pocketbook, who is it that's really going to be paying for it, but then also gearing your content for who the end user is as well. So you have to know both of those things. Yeah,
because I always say, you get through the door by impressing the coordinators who book you. You stay in the door by making the students feel good, or whoever you're speaking to, or by impressing. That's what I'm looking for, impressing the crowd, because the crowd will give you evaluations, and if they like you, then they'll bring you back because it makes the coordinator look good. But your marketing has to get you through the door. Same with lead gen. You've got to find out what your person wants most. So you ask yourself this question. It's literally just called an avatar sheet, or call it a perfect customer sheet. You start asking these questions. What is my customer's biggest pain? In other words, what keeps them up at night? If they could have in their business, or in their, let's say you're talking to parents, or you're helping parents have, raise great kids, or helping marriages have great relationships, or you're helping businesses grow. What's their greatest pain? Is it that they need customers? Is it that they, if you're helping parents raise great kids, is it that they need to know how to talk with their kids? If you're martial arts, is it that they, want to build the mindset, want to learn self-defense, or whatever they want to learn? What is their greatest pain? Because that is what's going to drive the first C, which is all of your content. Your content is going to be around alleviating their pain. You have to be the doctor in your industry, meaning you alleviate pain. You have to become the pain alleviator of your industry, whatever that is. You have to become the aspirin. You're it.
Oh, you're the ibuprofen.
There you go. There you go.
There we go. Okay. So you got to be the doctor in your industry. And so you got to know their pain, and then that content is about relieving that pain.
Absolutely. So so a lot of people are like, yeah, but I don't really know that. So one thing is, one of the ways you find your ideal client is you look back in the history of your business, look at every single person that's paid you. Are they male? Are they female? What age group? What's their, all those questions. You find out. If you're a new startup and you are just launching and you don't have that data yet, that's okay. Do some market research. If you're going after people, go out and do 20 interviews of people, asking them questions, and giving them telling them, you'll get I'm going to publish this in an ebook, and you'll get the book after I finish the interview, because you're going to be in it. And you go out and you interview a bunch of people. You do market research to find out who's really buying this. One of the big problems we see is lead generation is not a ready, fire, aim industry. And a lot of people, that's how they do it. They fire, and then they're like, well, where should I be shooting? And what we want to do is we want to put the scope on first and aim it very, very, very specifically at the people who want your products and services. And so we know that by looking at everybody that's bought it before, or if you're a startup, you go and you do market research and interview the industry. I've learned for me, in Magnetic Speaker, the perfect person for us is the person that's doing anywhere from 5 to 10 talks a year, about a talk a month, let's say a talk a month, and I talk to 1 or 2 months, and they want to scale that to 50 plus. We just found that's our sweet spot. And then in our other events, the avatar completely changes. But for our speaking event, that's what it is. For this lead gen event, we've really, really found out it's people that have tried lead generation and failed. It's not people that want to know, because some people don't even know they need it until they know what it is. So our lead generation avatar are people that are failing right now. Their Facebook ads aren't converting. People aren't calling their sales lines, whatever it is. That's people that are trying things that are failing. That's our key avatar. And that have been in business for at least 5 years, because most people, they honestly, it's so weird. They focus on lead generation once the money is dried up, which is not what we want to do. You know what I mean?
Well, or they don't even know what it is they have to offer yet. They're
Yeah.
still trying to figure that out. And
Right.
so that's not a good fit for this kind of a thing either. This is really for, like you say, people who already have some degree of success that they can either look at their past history, or they're developing maybe a new product. They need that research.
Absolutely.
For that.
Absolutely. So first thing you got to know, who's the person that's most likely to buy your stuff? What what keeps them up at night? What is their greatest pain? And then your content all alleviates that. But then when you ask for their contact information, the thing you give them in turn for their contact information, that's what we call their greatest pain. So we always give them what we believe to be their greatest pain. What is their great? So they've got 4 or 5. What's their biggest one? And that's how we get them there. Like our speaking, I developed a 23-day marketing plan that I instituted. I built my entire speaking career around it. And that 23-day marketing plan, I really booked a lot of talks from. Well, so what I did was on my webinar, it's how to book your next speaking gig in 23 days. And so I literally walk them through how to book a speaking gig in 23 days. Well, that alleviates the pain of the speaker. They want to fill their calendar, right? And so for you got to say, what is the pain that if I could alleviate, say in the next 30 to 60 days, would they give me their contact information for? And that's how we start generating leads.
Okay.
That's how we start generating leads, by we make sure all lead generation, make no mistake, lead generation is driven by alleviating pain in clients. That's what it's driven by. It'll always be driven by, because that's who we are. We're wired that way to always look to have our problems solved, right? And so we will look, and you have to show up to solve that.
Is it even more of a motivator than pleasure? Because I know you hear pain and pleasure. It's more of a motivator than pleasure, yes?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Proof over time. Doctors have proved this over and over again. We only do things for 2 reasons. Tony Robbins has taught this for years, and many other self-development people, that we only do things for pain and pleasure, but we will always do more to alleviate pain. We always do more to alleviate pain than to gain pleasure, right?
So I always like to bring in a little parallel in the martial arts on these things, because it's really interesting when you're training in the arts and you're working with a partner, and you might do something that's like, let's say it's a self-defense
Yep.
hold, or you're getting out of something. It's interesting how you can make someone do almost anything if you have them in the right hold, and all you have to do is say, get down on your knees or something. And they don't even decide. They don't even think, okay, should I, do I want to? No,
Yeah, right.
They just drop because because we're so hardwired to stop
Yes.
anything that is painful. Glimmer of like, oh, if I go to my knees, this is going to stop it. It's a natural impulse just to go with it. So if we can work with those regular brain patterns anyway and
Yes.
alleviate pain for people, they will naturally go with you. Yeah.
I 100% agree. And you know, so let me get all like self-development on you for a minute.
Let's do it.
Is think about this. Why is it so we are always looking to have our pain. We hate being in pain. This is why only few people make it to be successful, because outside of your comfort zone is the only place you grow. And outside of your comfort zone is painful. And people won't step outside that to really say, you know what? Yeah, I'm nervous on stage, but I want to be on stage so I can impact people, or whatever the pain may be. I don't like the market. It's just, I hate being told no. Maybe it's fear of rejection. So they don't want to make sales calls, or they don't want to meet with people, and so they don't do it. But it's just outside that comfort zone where success always lives outside our comfort zone. It just has for years. But that is a key component where, you know, we have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, but understand our clients aren't there. They're still looking to have their pain alleviated, and we have to alleviate it. We have to alleviate that pain. We have to.
So that's our first action item, and I want to get at least 3, maybe not even any more than 3 action items that people can walk away from this talk with. Number 1 is to find the number 1 thing that brings pain to our ideal customer, what their biggest pain is, and giving that to them. So finding out what that is the first order of business. Yes?
Yes. It's going to be really hard to fit 3 action items in, but I'm going to do everything I can. I'll probably have a few more, but I'll do everything I can to.
I'll draw them out. Go.
Right.
Go.
So the first thing is, and that's, you just got to figure out the pain of your client. The second thing is create 4 pieces of content. That's your first month. Create 4 pieces of content. It can be 4 blog posts. It can be 4 15-minute videos, 10-minute videos where you're just doing some training on maybe you're in the health industry like you are, Mel, where you train people on how to have the best life, like this whole radio show is about, you know, and maybe it's about health, or maybe you're, you know, whatever it is. 4 pieces of content.
Okay.
Again, that 4 piece of content comes after I figure out what their pain is, because I develop it around that. But create 4 pieces of content. Just whether it's shoot 4 videos, and on those videos, you always talk about people who do business with you, or in your blog post. Why? I'm going to get real psychological, because you're seeding that you sell things. So when I talk to people, I always mention, like if I'm doing on my, I mention coaching clients, because a lot of people want to come into our coaching program. So what we do is I'll say, I was working with this client, and it tells people, hey, I work with clients. I'm not even trying to sell them. If they want to become a client, there's a process to do that. But I'm just saying, I work with clients if that's something that you might be interested in. So on your own things, if you're a health coach, talk about a client you've worked with, or talk about somebody you were working with, even if they weren't paying you necessarily. Talk about somebody you were working with. My wife's in the health industry, and has written books and all kinds of stuff, and she often will talk about her people, her clients. So you want to, in all that content, you want to talk about people that work with you. I say that because later on, you're going to ask them to invest in you, and you're going to, people want to know when they're investing in something that there has been somebody before that has been dumb enough to buy it.
Exactly.
And that's a joke in the dumb enough thing. That's a joke, but they also want to know they're not alone. They're not like the first one jumping in, right? So, and if they are, that's okay. Just add enough value to make it great, or do a coaching client for free. If you're just starting off, do one for free to get some testimonials and prove your stuff works, right? And so, so first thing, who's your avatar? What's their pain? Next thing, 4 pieces of content. You could shoot 4 videos, write 4 blog posts, but make them rich in content. Like, make them so good that if you charge people $1,000 a weekend to come hear you at an event, a piece, everybody that came paid $1,000, it's stuff you would feel comfortable giving to them after they've given you money. Because one of the things that waters down lead generation is people who give away bad content and just cheap content. It makes it so bad. We want to give away heavy content. Like, we want people to be listening to it and go, oh my goodness, if this is the free stuff, what is the stuff you paid for like? That's what we want them thinking. That's the aroma we want to create by giving them so much value. So 4 pieces of content. That's action number 2. Right?
Got it.
All right. Action number 3 is get a landing page. This can be done in a couple different softwares. You might have to call a web guy to help you with this, but get a landing page with your face on it and a little description of who you are and a place they can put their email and what they're going to get if they give you their email, whether it be you've created a report or you have an ebook you've written or whatever. And when they opt in, they get that for free. So the third action step is create this landing page that you can collect emails with. So that's the first 3. I have a 4th, but this is more of a long term. You got to work on it.
Okay.
And so does that all make sense, Mel? What else do you want me to throw in there?
Okay, so this let's give people a few ideas where they can get a landing page. What are your favorites?
My favorites are ClickFunnels is great.
Yeah, I like them too.
ClickFunnels is fantastic. ClickFunnels and lead pages are really popular, and Optimized Press is really popular. Those are 3 really easy to use. Like, I am like the least tech savvy person you have ever met.
Well, that's not true.
I am so, like, people think because I talk lead gen and I know a lot of online marketing stuff that I'm really tech savvy. Believe me, I am so not. And but I will say this: those are the 3. They're really user friendly. They're like what we call drag and drop. They're all coded for you. You can pick up a page. You can, click on. It's like building a Facebook page, kind of. You click upload and you put your picture there. You click upload here and you figure out what you want to put there. And most people can just click around and find it. Most of those have support systems too to help you.
I know. I like all the ones that you mentioned. I've tried all of those. They're great.
Yeah.
Now, so we've got this landing page. We know what the pain is. We've got the content. Yep. How are we going to get people onto the landing page?
How are we going to get people onto the landing page?
Yeah.
Great. So every time you have a piece of content, blog post or video, you're going to drive them to it. Okay. So if you're shooting a video, hey guys, Mike Fritz here. I found a magnetic speaker, and today I'm going to talk about the 3 things you need to do on stage to make sure people buy more books. Blah, 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 blah. And at the end, by the way, if you'd like my report on how to book a gig in the next 23 days, go click the link below. Or, if you have a link in YouTube, I would put it there in that little link section on the description of the video. Click the link in the description video, and you're going to be taken over, and you can get that free training. And I want to make sure you get it instantly. So click the link below. Or if I'm writing a blog post. If you want information plus my report on the top 10 topics that are booked, go here, and you'll be able to get that immediately. And I always use the words like immediately because we do live in an instant gratification world. People want to know that they're going to get it right away. And so everything I do, I'm just driving people to that opt-in page. That's the easiest way to do it.
Any of your favorite social media sites that you're using, or if you have a small email list of friends and family or whatever, right? You're actually past customers. You're starting to build a list, of which then you're letting them know about these things.
Yeah. So let's say I do shoot a video. My 3 favorite social medias. I was going to say 2, but it's really moved to 3. Is YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Those are my 3 faves. I love those. I'm not saying Pinterest doesn't work if used correctly. I'm not saying Twitter doesn't work if used correctly, or Instagram or Snapchat. They all work if used correctly, I assure you. But when you shoot a video, you post it on Facebook. When you shoot a blog, you post it on Facebook. Is the number 1 traffic driver right now. We just have to use it. And so keep putting it on Facebook and putting it out there and asking. By the way, most people don't think about this. When you do put on Facebook, ask people to share it. People might actually be crazy enough to do it,
You gotta have that call to action, and that's how we started the show. I can't believe it's gone by so quickly, Mike. This is.
I know. I can't believe it's over. This guy just told me what's that?
What minute? What's that about? So, with that being said, we want to put out a call to action right now for the people to get more information about this event, the Lead Gen event. It's leadgenevent.com. You can go there to get more information about this event that's coming up very, very quickly and how you can get involved. It's only 1 day commitment, but you also get some free tickets to Author 101, which is, an event that's been around for decades.
Years, yeah.
And an important part. So thank you so much, Mike.
It's been fantastic being with you. And thank you for having me. It's an honor to always be with you and honor to be on your show. So thank you. It means a lot to me.
You're welcome. And everyone, go to leadgenevent.com. Also come visit me at mastermel.com. I'd like to continue the conversation with you there. Thanks and take care.
Thanks for listening to Kick Up Your Life with Master Mel. Each week, learn how to optimize your business and your life with Master Melodee Meyer as she speaks with thought leaders, athletes, entrepreneurs, and high achievers to discover their secrets of success. Kick Up Your Life with Master Mel every week right here on Radio Star Worldwide.